I already said this, but I'm repeating myself as I started to record. What was this? For legal purposes, something. I don't know. We'll work on it.
We're notifying you that this session will be recorded.
Yes. Okay, let's begin.
So am I the only one who thought Vanessa's kind of getting annoying? I was like, I don't know. I just feel like even as an adult, she's just very immature.
I don't know. I didn't. What was that?
I think she has a little bit of trouble like identifying and then expressing her feelings from some quotes that I've been jotting down. It could be her PTSD though, because I like that they did bring that up.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say too. Because doesn't it seem like she's? And I think someone mentioned it last meeting that it seems like she's turning, or like that she's gonna do what he was doing. Like, why is she stalking Taylor?
The professor?
Well, before that we mentioned that the professor, it was Taylor, where she was like, I'm reading all of her published stuff, I'm reading all of her work, all of her poetry, like just to see if I can find strength in it. And I'm like, girl, you're psycho. Like that's psycho. As Jose walks into the room.
Oh, it's because he's here. He's letting out the boys right now.
Oh, okay. I just saw your face and I was like, what's going on, Crystal?
They're biting something.
Oh, I was very surprised by the blog that turned out to be public after all. Because I thought she was like, I mean, I understand that she was using it to kind of like put her story and like just use it as a diary, but I feel like that's something that she shouldn't even have put on the internet, right? Like it should have been like in a paper diary or something, because now the reporter can use it, and it sucks for her if she doesn't consent to it being used.
Because like from experience, I've used Tumblr and it lets you put a password to like make it private. But maybe after because she kept saying that she kept checking to see if it was private, and it was. But I wonder if like, you know how they change or like they update certain things. At some point they updated like something else, you know, and she wasn't even paying attention anymore, and that's when it just stayed public instead of like staying private. That's what I'm assuming that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she hadn't checked it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I've done that. I
think that must have been what happened.
I noticed, I mean, I feel like she's done this since the beginning, but like throughout the whole time it feels like she just wants attention.
Yeah.
She wants him to notice her, like that's all she's craving, but she's like disgusted by him.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I like highlighted that part where she wrote, his approval is all it takes for my body to buckle, and his ugly clothes turn not so ugly.
Yes, I highlight that.
Important. He's always going to be old. He has to be. That's the only way I can stay young and dripping with beauty.
Yes.
I was like, she's like literally disgusted by him. Like, and that's why when this new teacher comes along, she's like, ooh.
He's younger.
But isn't that new teacher kind of sketch?
Yeah, when he's like, oh, my friend.
Like, yeah, when he said friend, because before that, the strain was like, oh, yeah, one of the counselors, new counselors here at Broadwick or whatever, is married to one of the teachers in your school. And I'm like, it has to be her teacher. Like, they're gonna make it, you know? But then when he says friend, I'm like, I don't know. And then we find out that it's the wife. That's sketch. I
lie. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, what is he planning? Is he trying, like, maybe he's trying to do a similar thing where he's like testing the waters? Like, oh.
Or he doesn't want to lose his chance with her.
The new guy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think so.
Why?
This means I agree.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like water or something.
Why bring up the, I don't know.
And she's like intrigued by it because she said, oh, except this time, like she's in Strain's position. And then like the professor is, like she's the one in control, not like the
Yeah,
powerful one.
yeah.
I thought it was sketchy when they were drinking the little beer or whatever it was in his office, because to me that was already blurring the lines, and I thought maybe like he would be open to an affair as well, and that's why he said my friend, not my wife, because he wanted to see, oh, where is this gonna go? And I do agree it was sketchy.
I'm wondering if like maybe she keeps, because she obviously keeps an eye on him and keeps like staring at him. And what if in one of those moments, like she's staring a certain way and he's like, wait, what's going on? Because obviously, you know, like maybe he caught something and that's why he was like, oh, she keeps appearing, or oh, she keeps, you know, I don't know. I just don't feel like he's like Strain. But then it's me being nice that I'm just giving him a chance, which I shouldn't.
Because Strain is so creepy. No one can be that creepy.
I mean, yeah, kind of, but I guess. What?
Isn't the new professor also kind of like really is interested in her writing as well?
Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't. I don't know.
He just doesn't seem to be. What was the word that? Oh, grooming. He's not grooming her.
Yeah.
Which I feel like was the most creepy part about Strain.
Yeah. And you know, maybe it's not as weird because the age difference is not that much. I mean, there's still age difference between them. But she's older. Like she's not a teen. And obviously he's like what, 30s or something, right?
Yeah, 34,
Yeah.
35.
Yeah, so I'm like, I've seen situations, not from experience, but I've seen like on TikToks or whatever, where a young person, like a teacher and a student, end up together, but the age difference isn't too crazy. So I feel like maybe because of that, I'm like, oh, he's not that bad, or it's not like creepy because she's not a teen. She's already 21. She's in college, you know. But it's still not right. When he said friend, he was like, I don't like you, dude. Yeah.
And another thing with that, how she so easily blurted out about Strain. I'm like, oh, she didn't say his name, but that she said, oh, a teacher there raped me.
Yeah.
And like she never, I don't think she had ever used that word, right? Out loud.
Yeah.
And it was
Why
just
would
like,
she say it?
Yeah, I'm wondering if like she's using that as a way to manipulate him to feel a certain way, or I don't know.
Get him closer to like try and like help her out and then like lure him in that way.
Maybe.
Very weird.
Judith, I don't know how you do this. Like I'm trying to balance my laptop on a pillow and it's like the lighting is wrong. Like,
do you want to see how I do it? Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 books. Here, let me take a picture with my phone. That'd be easier to show you guys. That's so weird.
I'm trying to like look around my room. What could I possibly use? The lid to the hamper.
I use like.
Oh my god! Wow.
I'm trying to make it kind of like eye level, and I have this like bigger box, but it's too high. So yeah. I started doing that like I think the beginning of this book. Because before that, I used pillows and it would overheat.
Well, yeah, I can hear it already, like kind of overheating. Let me grab the cap of the hamper. Maybe that'll work.
I'm trying to look for one of like those nice desks, but I don't know if they're what's worth it because they're pretty pricey, and I don't want to get something that's not going to be good.
Oh shit.
I saw a post on Instagram today, going back to what we were kind of saying about like in one situation, the person was a minor and the person was older. The other person was older. And now she was like a little bit older, like 21, but then the other person is still significantly older. I saw a post that made me think of the book in our discussion because it was saying that like even if the person is not a minor, it's like a power imbalance in the relationship if someone is a lot older and kind of more settled in.
Mhm.
So I just thought it was interesting. I should have saved it to show you guys.
What?
There was another comment I was gonna make.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. So maybe I can put it on my nightstand.
Oh, when she's at the hotel, this is right at the beginning.
Oh.
The man that goes in and it seems like I thought he was gonna flirt with her, or like she's over here saying like, oh, he showed up by himself and with the suite that's like kind of, you know, very romantic. And then she's like, oh, that's weird, he's by himself. Then she sees the 14-year-old and she's over here calling it rape, and then she's over here saying like, I just want to go up there and yank him apart from her because that's rape and, you know, it's assault. And it was like that, and I'm like, yeah, you didn't, like, how is your situation okay and why are you freaking out about this one? You know? Yeah.
I feel like in a way she wants to help. Like she understands that there's other people that are going through it, but obviously she hasn't admitted it. So I think that's the first thing she needs to do in order to actually help people. She hasn't.
Oh, and when you said that, I highlighted when she wrote, I'm not a victim because I've never wanted to be. And if I don't want to be, then I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, so laughing at our book club.
I went.
Why?
Why is he hating?
Hater.
He's jealous that he's not in it.
He's jealous that he doesn't see his friends weekly. Have great discussions.
You know what? Luisa said the same thing. He's like, oh, fuck book club.
Because they're lonely. They're
You know,
hurt.
He's like, oh, you have like a thing to
responsibility.
look forward to all week, you know? Like you have something to look forward to. He's like, well, I'm like, well,
And I
let's
told
make
him
another book club.
Yeah.
What did he say?
No,
No.
Juan said that he wants to read. And I'm like, well, then join our book club. He's like, no, that's your thing. I'm like, okay.
Like,
Well, they can make their own book club.
Yeah.
have all the guys just, you know, bunch them up together and be like, hey, pónganse a leer y anda a discutir. That's funny. But I mean, if we included them and they gave other suggestions of books they wanted to read, maybe we would pick them. But I don't know what they want. They're like, oh, we don't want to read romance. This isn't really, well, there's some romance, but it's
Along the same lines, there's a book that Juan wants to read. It's called Mindhunter. Have you guys seen that show on Netflix? It's really good.
No.
About looking into the minds of serial killers and how they like come up with their way of everything and like, yeah.
Well, that sounds like The Silent Patient. I'm just kidding.
What does The Silent Patient sound familiar?
Because it was what I suggested. The book. I suggested it this month. Where the
show?
No,
I like the suggestion.
What was that?
Like a special month. Like like October can be the +1. Like you bring a +1 to book club.
Are we gonna dress up for Halloween?
Yeah, let's do it.
Halloween
yeah.
Saturday, no?
Yeah, but that's Sunday. It's the 1st, and we're gonna do El Dia de los Muertos.
Oh, that's right. That's what we had said.
Are you gonna come in, Cora, or you're just gonna listen? She opened the door and she didn't come inside. She was just like,
what are you doing? Who are you talking to?
who's in there?
What if we read a scary book for October?
A what?
Down.
Yeah.
Read a what?
A scary book for October?
Yeah, I'm down. We should do it.
Spooky season. Okay, so I think Corina gets to pick this one. She's like the master of scary.
True.
Make some suggestions, and then maybe we can vote. But you guys should also do some research. Stephen King is pretty scary, and he has books of different lengths. So
Give us your top 3 like scary, spooky books, and then we pick from there. We could do that.
Well, I
Hey,
just
are we gonna choose one that Corina already read or that she hasn't read yet?
that's the tricky bit, but maybe we could. For this round, I would probably put that book Misery. I already bought it. Remember I showed it to you guys last time, where the woman kidnaps the author and she like tortures him because of something that he did. I don't.
Mhm.
And there's a movie too that you guys could.
You could do that. You haven't read it,
Movie
right?
night.
Read it.
Oh, it's a movie too?
I'll bring it. There's an old movie in it with Kathy Bates as the villain.
Sounds like a good idea. Hey, what are you doing?
Do you guys remember or do you guys know what Vanessa's dad worked as?
Hospital. He's a doctor.
He is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I knew he was
I don't think
And he got promoted, right?
I think he was
maintenance or something for the.
Yeah.
He was what? What
I
was
think he was maintenance or something like that because if he was a doctor, they would have had the money to send Vanessa to the school without the scholarship, right? And she said she was on a scholarship.
because I know
Oh.
he's working at a hospital, but if he was a doctor, I feel like I would remember that. Like he would have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Or like she would have mentioned it and be like, oh shoot, like what kind of doctor?
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember the hospital and I was like,
I think he's.
pero ¿qué haces?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was there a part where she said she was embarrassed too of her dad coming and he didn't even change out of his work clothes or something? I feel like I remember that, but it could be from something else too.
It was the day that they had to go pick her up. It was like the day that they were packing all her stuff to leave, right? And she's like, "Oh, my dad is in his
Oh.
working
I didn't even
uniform."
pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's like he didn't even have time to go home and change. Like he came straight from work.
And she was mad because he still had like his uniform where you could tell he was like a blue collar worker. Which is ironic because then she had to go work in the mechanic shop. Not shaming the work, but you know, it's just interesting to me that that's what she ended up doing.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about how Strain was the one that kind of put the nail in her coffin in terms of getting kicked out of her school? I was pretty surprised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. I mean, when she mentions, or when the other Mrs. Jills like tells her that it was since the beginning, pretty much, right?
Yeah, because he had written up a thing to like to have like a covering.
Mm-hmm. That's just crazy. That's just if he really loved her, obviously that's not a way to show it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just showed that she was like disposable to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't care. He didn't really love her. I think he just tells her that. You know, like when you're a kid and like you're in a relationship and after like 2 weeks you tell each other you love each other. It's like, okay, you don't really know what love is.
Yeah.
I feel like he knew, oh, she's only 15. Like she doesn't know what love is.
Yeah, she's gonna believe me, and she's not gonna know the difference between me just saying it and actually
the easiest way to get into her pants.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And doesn't she mention that too? Like, oh, you just used me and threw me away like trash.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then
so she like is realizing it.
That was for her birthday, right? When she went over.
Yeah, after Jenny.
I feel like in that moment, because obviously we've seen Strain over here being like, oh yeah, like loving her, like being nice to her, and in this moment where she's over here like obviously mad, he's like pretty much. I feel like his character changed, or at least I noticed the difference. When she was saying that, and he was just like, yeah, but or you know, like he's just saying like, yeah, that's true. So, you know. Or is it just me? Let me.
To what? Like,
and let me look for the quotes. I don't understand. Anybody know the?
He was victimizing himself.
Oh, like for falling in love with her, like how much damage her, like loving her did to him.
I think a little bit, and then I wrote. Is it page 249, Judith? That page you mentioned? I wrote where he was trying to gauge how much Oh, right on. I forgot.
It's
11. 212, 213.
He's just trying to protect himself always, even from the beginning. So he's manipulating her big time, and everyone at the school really. I mean, if the other lady was believing him, the director of the school or whatever. And the thing that was mentioned later that I didn't think of was that really that should have been an investigation because teachers and school staff are mandated reporters. And I don't know, I didn't even think like that. The thought didn't come to me until I read it, but I'm like, yeah, the school was just trying to cover it up too. So they also didn't really care about Vanessa. So in that sense, she was disposable as well.
Someone even made a comment, right? Like later on, her therapist, where she's like, "Wait a minute, your school didn't even like they humiliated you. They made you apologize to this group of people like in front of everybody. Like that's not right. Like that's traumatizing on its own."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part I read that made me think, yeah, wait, someone should have reported it. That's like illegal if you don't even if you suspect any sort of abuse or neglect of a child, you have to report it. If not, you can get in big trouble.
Maybe she's his friend.
I just found the section. It's like when she's saying like, "Oh, I've changed," and then he's like, "Yeah, like I'm sure you have." Like it kind of seemed like he was very disconnected because obviously over here he's trying to like not even like empathize with her, but like I feel like he was more lovey-dovey, right? And now obviously she's older and she's over here being mad at him, and she's like, "Oh, like I'm angry at you," and it's like you don't, and she's like, he's like, "You're angry with me," and it's like, "You don't think I should be," blah blah blah. So they keep going, and then he's like, "Justice for what?" And then he's like, "To do that, honey, you have to believe that I unduly harmed you. Do you believe that?" And he's kind of just like, he knows he's in control. He knows that he completely like manipulated everything for her. So it's like he thought of all the loopholes and he's like, "You can't phase me. I already know what you're gonna say, or whatever you do, I already have a counter argument," kind of thing. And I'm just like, dude, that's when I saw how like evil he is, you know? Because
again, kind of like showing that this is not his first rodeo.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought it was crazy when she's like, when was it, like 273, when she's walking home with her earbuds in and she's like, what a thrill it would be to get kidnapped. Like she doesn't care about losing her life. She's like at the point where she's like, she just sounds super depressed. And like unhappy with herself.
Yeah, and she's like super brainwashed. Back to the whole therapist conversation where she's like, "I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at them. I'm mad at the world that turned him into a monster when all he did was have the bad luck of falling in love with me." And that's what he told her. So she's over here believing all his freaking lies and, you know, just like reiterating them to make them true. But girl, like that's not true.
I think even her therapist calls her bullshit, right? Like she's like, honey, you believe this?
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to go to school.
Yeah.
Exactly. When she said that, I'm like, yes, girl, that's your role.
I wonder if she's trying to be like the tragic hero, and since the books that Strain recommended to her at the beginning were so influential, apparently, like she's trying to see how she can make it into a tragic love story between the two of them, as if it were a novel. And maybe that's why she goes back and forth between like reaching out to him a lot and then maybe like, because I'm sensing like, you know, she's not the most mentally stable right now. So maybe sometimes like the down to earth, like realistic part of her comes back out. And that's when she is saying like, he's disgusting, he's this, he's that. But later when she gets overwhelmed or, you know, when she starts thinking a different way.
Yeah, when she's
because she's still
state.
She's trying to cope with it by making it into like a little fairy tale or like the novels, right? And that's what makes her feel okay with it.
Oh, and even the therapist told her, like, when she was giving the details, she's like, "Oh, I tend to exaggerate things," and then the therapist is like, "No, if anything, like you're under exaggerating it, or something like that."
Yeah. She's like,
so I'm really hoping she's like coming to a realization after that.
Yeah, because she did say, "I know you, and you're not. You're like underdoing it." Like whatever
kind
you're
of got,
saying is worse, actually.
I kind of got like the vibe where she was starting to notice that she was a victim.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think so.
Yeah.
The more she relives, because he raped her multiple times and he made her be under the influence of alcohol to rape her
Yeah.
multiple times as well when she was not a minor anymore. Like there's no sugarcoating it. That's what happened. So she's starting to realize it, I think, towards the end of the book or the end of the section.
Because she even says it on one of them. She's like, let me find it.
I wrote it down too.
Too drunk for sex, but
He
he
wakes
still
up
tried.
with his dress
Like,
off.
a thought shoots through me. Is this rape? Is he raping me? It's like, well, yeah,
Mhm.
lady. She's like, he was
Maybe.
going faster now, which means he's close. Only a minute or so left, and then that's when she's like, "Is this rape? Is he raping me?"
Yeah.
And then, towards the
Yeah.
end of that section, then she was like, "But he is careful and he's good and he loves me and I want this." But then later she's like, that she feels torn when he pushes inside, and she'll probably always feel like that, but that she has to do it. It's like she doesn't have to, but I mean, I think it goes back to the way that I think Corina had mentioned it, that like they had already built this relationship, and it's like not gonna disrespect him, but just like break that bond.
Yeah.
Oh, the power and like really imbalance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know she was playing into that when she mentioned that the year before they went to the fancy restaurant, like she said, "Oh, this is." She made a comment making it seem like she was very what
Underwhelmed.
was it? Huh?
Underwhelmed.
No, not that one. She yeah, and this one she was like she wasn't even trying to like make it seem like she was really excited or like, oh my gosh, this is so expensive. I've never had that before. And she mentioned that the year before she did all of that for him, or like saying like, oh, I need you, and like seeming like she's the one that needs him. I feel like she was playing into that role. And then also with Dailene, when she was mentioning that, I feel like every time she has sex, she's just like thinking of something else. Like she says, there's like some like a reel playing, like to try to get over it. Or she's also using drugs or drunk when it's happening. Like she gets
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, because she's
It's
talking.
like
She talks about a river, like she's floating or
yeah.
drowning. Yeah. Like if she's distracting her mind to not
So
think
she like
about what's going
get
on.
over it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because I don't think there's ever been a time that
She's
they
enjoying it.
mentioned them having and like she's happy.
Even when it goes to like later on, right, when she's older and like now they're a little more open, like, oh, he's my boyfriend, to her new roommate, right, Bridget.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know he's so gross.
I know. And then she's like, no, he's not.
Actually, but okay.
It's just so weird how she describes him and she like has these negative feelings towards him, and yet she's
Still there.
still with him. Yeah.
I think she must have really low self-confidence too, though. Maybe that's why she keeps trying to get all the attention, because by the time she grows up, hopefully, I mean, boys want her to mature, but that's why she said she was with Strain, right? Like, oh, he's older, la la la, but she's already in her 30s and then her 20s. Like, sometimes you can find more mature people. But I feel like she never tried.
And she did have the relationship, right, with that guy from the beginning. But they never went into detail about what happened there, right?
Not much. We didn't get much.
And then I'm just gonna go to the end because I actually wrote something for that. Isn't it interesting that we find out that she knows that Taylor is saying the truth, yet she's protecting Strain?
Yes, like she had
Or-
found that report when
She
back when
back in
she
like
was
2000.
20.
Yeah, when she's young,
Yeah, like she was still in college and she was at his house one day
because
and
she
she was
saw
like
the
couldn't
email.
sleep or something.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to tell her like, oh, it was just like I just brushed her leg, and she's like, that's how it all started for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
then
and then she goes downstairs, right, and then she checks
yeah,
his computer.
and he confesses. He's like, okay, yes, I did touch her. And that's when she goes snooping and sees the email that it says
Mm-hmm.
like Taylor. And so she knows. She knows he confessed. She saw the email with her name. And yet she's over here protecting him. Like it just doesn't make sense.
But for her, I know that was like when he confessed.
Yeah.
Did he sleep with her? Like, did he rape Taylor, or
No.
did they specify like what?
I think he just touched her leg is all the information that was given.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like a weird way on the thigh.
Yeah. Which is what he did to Vanessa. Right?
It's
Yeah,
what
but I
he-
guess
I mean,
obviously the other girl like really took it to offense, whereas
Yeah.
Vanessa was like, oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like,
Which is what Vanessa should have done.
I'm not really.
but Vanessa was like, oh my God, he likes me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see where this goes.
It's like, oh yeah, you think someone in their how old was he, like 40 when she was 15? No, he was in his late 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Ew. I don't know. I mean, at least at that age, I wouldn't have thought someone was hot.
And then
At that age. Especially because you said she describes him as not looking very attractive. But
Yeah, when she was telling her friends in the other session, where she's like, he's not even cute, like the kind of cute or hot that they imagine. It's just
yeah.
like, then why? But whatever.
It's like you can't even brag. Like, oh yeah, I hooked up with my hot teacher. I just hooked up with my ugly middle-aged basic teacher.
And she was even embarrassed, right? Like she didn't want her roommate to see him.
Yeah.
But then she likes the idea of having that story.
Yeah, she did say that.
So
When everyone was sharing, this is in college, right? When everyone was talking about the different stories, how they were heartbroken, how they, like they went through stuff. And she's like, well, at least I have a good story. Like I would have
Mhm.
ended up here eventually, kind of thing. And I'm like, no. No. Yeah, that's wild.
I had a small breakthrough. Or connection, I guess. A connection to the book. I noticed in some of the books we've been reading, there are references to other literature, which I like. Like in Chloe Brown, I think she talked about different books, and not necessarily that she read them, but like pop culture, like Harry Potter, video games. And
Yeah.
I like books that reference other literature because I feel like that makes you be able to have more connections with it.
Mhm.
And then on page 303, when Strain is freaking out about being caught, he said it's like Salem. And I'm looking at my notes again right now. And then I wrote another poem by Robert Frost, but it's not the same one that's mentioned in this book. It's a different one. That was actually, I think, I read it in high school, but then I remembered that it was also I think it's like at the end or at the beginning of one of the Twilight books. So then that made me think of that. And then right now that I read Salem again, I remember the book The Scarlet Letter. I don't know if anyone has read that one in high school or something, but this book started reminding me of the Scarlet Letter because in that book, the Puritan like priest guy has an affair with a married woman, and she gets pregnant and has a baby. And since it's Salem and it's Puritans, they make her wear an A for adultery forever, and she's ostracized by society. And then at the end, it's all like this forbidden love or whatever. And then at the end, I believe the guy who committed the adultery with the girl also commits suicide. So I thought that was like a weird parallel. And then I'll put the other poem by Robert Frost right here. It's called Fire and Ice. I don't remember which Twilight book it's in, but it made me think of Vanessa because I feel it's just like her attitude right now a little bit, where it's talking about the end of the world and destruction. So
So
I don't know.
the Rubber Frost poem that you found, is it mentioned here, or you remember that poem? Because
I remembered it because
but they didn't mention this exact poem, right?
right. No, it's not in there, but it made me remember it because they referenced Robert Frost in the book. So I remembered him. And I feel like it suits the book as well. Maybe I wonder if the author of this book was inspired by some of this other literature, even though she doesn't mention it directly in this book so far, especially the Scarlet Letter, in terms of keeping the secret and defending the man, because if the secret gets out, it'll ruin his life and career, really. Crazy stuff.
Do we have one more section left of
The last.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder what will
my last
happen.
one?
I think so. Let me check the page numbers.
I think
I just hate how he like committed suicide without her, like without him getting in trouble for what he did,
Mm-hmm.
or like her admitting it, like that, or admitting it to herself, and like that he was abusing her.
At least telling her like, hey, what I did was wrong. So at least you can be like, oh, you know, like, I mean, maybe if he apologized, but come on, he's not gonna apologize.
That he killed himself.
Yeah.
With no closure.
Oh, 60 only?
Shut up.
Woo!
It's very little.
You're right. There is 60. I'm not gonna look. I was about to like start reading.
We can finish it tonight.
I'm on my phone just scrolling, and I was like, wait, what is it?
On Wednesday.
What was that?
If it's only 60 pages, book club on Wednesday.
Are you guys down? I mean, I'm down.
I'm down.
We can do Thursday.
I think I probably finished. Last time I finished on Tuesday, surprisingly.
Yeah,
I finished really
because everybody wanted to know.
So
I think last time we read like 75 pages.
We can do that.
Yeah,
we can potentially have it on Wednesday, and if for some reason one of us has not finished, we can do Thursday. But like, definitely not wait until
You're breaking up.
Oh, I am?
I can hear you now.
Okay. What did you hear?
Yeah, that's what I heard from all of you, and I'm like, no, it's gonna kick me off.
Oh, it'll be on the video. So Wednesday, check in on everyone. If someone hasn't finished, we can do Thursday, but not wait until Sunday.
I'll just watch the video.
But then what are we going to do for the new book? Because we haven't.
We pick it.
The poll?
Right.
The poll too? Or
okay, but like I'm gonna need the books like quick so I can put them up and stuff. And
oh, I see what you mean, because we have less days.
Yeah.
We send like suggestions to you, or like how does that work?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I put that up on Instagram too. Luckily, there's been enough books that if you haven't sent anything, there was enough. But if you want a specific book, you can send it to me. You can just send me a DM through the Instagram thing.
But it has to be scary, or are we saving that?
Because are we?
Have,
it is going to be October.
Yeah, we still have like a whole 2 weeks.
We could choose a shorter book for this week.
We could
for this new one.
What was that?
We could do a very short one. It might be interesting too to do like a book that's comprised of vignettes, like short stories, because in theory we could do like a whole short story every week until we finish that book. I had a question for you guys, and it was, in terms of like scary books or scary even movies, there's a lot of different themes. I feel Stephen King's probably the biggest author that I know that does scary books, but I can do some research. But I don't know if you guys kind of like there's like serial killer scary books, and then there's like just like crazy things scary books, which probably would be more like Stephen King. But then there's probably also like ghost ones, right? We could look into that. I haven't read a lot of ghost books, but I'd be down to look into it. Because there's like different genres within horror too. I'm gonna do the research right now, actually. Best scary books for grown-ups.
I literally Google that best scary story.
Scary stories for October.
Yeah, it's scary stories to tell in the dark.
Take us back to elementary
right
school.
now. Oh, Bird Box is a book? Wait. Interesting. It is on there, but that's way too long. We'll never finish.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is King's books are his books pretty long? Because based on what I've seen, they're pretty thick. Or is it just like thick font? Corina, since you've read them.
It depends. This one is 400 pages. And I know it is like 1,000 pages. And the rest, I would say they're probably between like 300 and 400. So maybe a little bit longer, but not super long. Let me check. I have a couple of more, I think.
Well,
if we choose a long book, we can even start earlier since we finished this one early.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. If we do, because like I said, I've seen Stephen King's books and they're pretty lengthy. So if you pick one of those, we can start now and,
we'll have, we'll have 6, 7 weeks to read.
What was that?
We'll have like 6 or 7 weeks.
The Shining is 445. I have not read this one either, but I know it's a classic.
Oh, we can do. I think Jose mentioned that one.
The Shining?
Have you read The Shining? Oh, he watched the movie.
Yeah, I've heard.
I have not. I want to.
I haven't seen it, but
he said he'll join us when we read that book.
Liar! Have the boys join us for this one.
I know.
No, Louise has me reading like this book called Sapiens. That's like the story of the beginning of humans. We try to read it every night, but that's like it's our book club, so we'll read together before bed.
Oh, that's cute. There's also, did you guys ever watch The Haunting of Hill House? There's a book on it. I didn't actually know that, Antonia.
I've never seen any of the scary movies, so
huh?
I'm not much on scary movies.
It's a show on Netflix. It's like a series.
Scary movies based off books. That's what we should search.
Scary movies based on what?
Based on books. That way we can get an idea of what it's about if we've seen it.
I just found this book. It's called The Cabin at the End of the World.
Oh.
And it goes.
No, it's gonna make me not want to go camping.
Maybe. I literally read like 3 sentences and I'm like, I don't know if I want to read a scary one anymore. It says 7-year-old Wen and her parents, Eric and Andrew. Oh, it's a gay couple. Eric and Andrew, right? I just saw that. Whatever. Are vacationing at a remote cabin on a quiet New Hampshire lake. The closest neighbors are more than 2 miles in either direction along a dirt road. One afternoon, as Wen catches grasshoppers in the front yard, a stranger unexpectedly appears in the driveway. Leonard is the largest man Wen has ever seen, but he is young, friendly, and he wins her over almost instantly. Leonard and Wen talk and play until Leonard abruptly apologizes and tells Wen, "None of what's going to happen is your fault." And then explain. 3 more strangers then arrive at the cabin carrying unidentifiable menacing objects, and then it keeps going. But isn't that weird? That's
She's like a psychic telling him, oh, all these like bad things are about to happen, but I just want you to know none of it's your fault.
yeah.
What is it called again? The cabin in the woods? Or
The
At the end
cabin at the end of the world.
oh, at the end of the world.
What's The Shining about?
Oh, The Shining is about a family, and they go live in a hotel, but I think it's the off season, so nobody's in the hotel. And the hotel is based off the Awani Hotel in Yosemite, and it's very creepy. And little by little, the husband starts just going crazy and losing his mind. I'm not exactly sure why. It's been a while since I saw the movie, but he kind of goes like on a killing spree.
Wait, this story.
But I mean, I'm sure more stuff happens in the
Yosemite?
book. The hotel decoration in the movie is based off of the Awani Hotel in Yosemite, I believe. Have you ever seen like a picture on the internet with a guy and a door, and he looks kind of crazy, and he goes, what is it? Here's Johnny, or something like that. That's The Shining
That's what I'm.
with Jack Nicholson.
It's like I don't know if you can see, but it's like.
Oh yeah.
You guys, I have to go. But I mean, the one that Judith mentioned seems really good.
I know.
The Shining I'd be up for too.
Like NPR ad, and it says, "Read The Cabin at the End of the World, and you won't sleep for a week."
No!
Okay, never mind.
I don't want to. No!
I
I'm
do
scared.
get nightmares.
I don't want to do it.
Watch scary movies.
I don't want to do it. I can watch scary movies, but like I think reading is
It's much slower, so it's like it builds up to it, you know, like. Oh no!
I got scared.
What's that behind you?
Shut up. I'm looking out my background.
Oh my God.
she's looking did you just read that right now, Eileen?
Well, I looked up the name, and then it came up as a like article on NPR,
Oh, okay.
and it's talking about the book.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I mean, I think so far we have some good suggestions. Maybe send them by Tuesday? And then we can have our Wednesday discussion and maybe decide by Thursday or even that Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But then what if for the ones that we have to order the book, it's going to take a few days?
That is also true. And we would be starting this Sunday, huh?
Yeah, you would just pick one right now so I can order it?
Oh.
How long is the cabin one? Just so you know.
You want to read it?
Okay.
I'd be down to read that one.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Ya que? Okay, what is it called?
The Cabin at the End of the World.
The cabin?
I might
Cabin.
not sleep in my room anymore.
Okay. Let's do it.
Wait, let's see how
It has
long
a
it- what is
3.3 out of 5 on Goodreads.
No, The Shining is better. The Shining is 4.2. I saw
How
that.
long is The Shining?
Let's do The Shining then.
Okay, I'm down.
But
how
what
long
about
is-
that Misery one? How long is that one? Those are the
Mystery.
three that we
Hold
have,
on.
right?
Let me see.
The
So
Misery,
The Shining is
Cabin in the Woods. The Cabin.
The Shining is 450. And Misery is 420, I think. Yeah.
Oh, so they're pretty long.
I think that's
We
good. We
gotta-
can finish those in
Yeah,
like
that'll be
6
good.
weeks.
A good head
Oh
start.
yeah, because the Cabin at the End of the World is 298. Let's do one of the longer ones
Okay.
so we can sleep.
The
I
Shining.
already got scared. This cabin at the end of the world.
I know.
No one's gonna want to go camping.
And the next line of that, it said that
I will.
Leonard told Wen, she's like, they're not letting us in. And I'm like, don't go tell your parents they're not letting us in.
I'll
I don't
still
know,
read
it's so
it.
weird. You're still gonna read it? Okay, so we're gonna
I'll read it eventually.
we'll do
Do
Misery
you
then?
want me to read the back of the I can read the back if you want, so you can help. I can help you decide. But whichever one you guys. I'm good with either, really.
Yeah, let's do it. There's 8 books?
Oh, of The
8
Shining?
books of what?
Oh, I thought I was looking up the Misery one.
In The Shining, there's a little bit of like the little boy seeing visions too, so that could be scary if you guys don't want the ghost aspect. Whereas I think Misery is more like real life stuff that could happen.
Ooh.
What is Mystery about again?
Do you want me to read the descriptions? I feel Shining would be more a Halloween one, but I'll read it to you guys. Here comes the Misery description. Best-selling novelist Paul Sheldon thinks he's finally free of Misery Chastain. In a controversial career move, he's just killed off the popular protagonist of his beloved romance series in favor of expanding his creative horizons. But such a change doesn't come without consequences. After a near-fatal car accident in rural Colorado leaves his body broken, Paul finds himself at the mercy of the terrifying rescuer who is nursing him back to health. His self-proclaimed #1 fan, Annie Wilkes. Annie is very upset over what Paul did to Misery and demands that he find a way to bring her back by writing a new novel, his best yet, and one that's all for her. After all, Paul has all the time in the world to do so as a prisoner in her isolated house. And Annie has some very persuasive and violent methods to get exactly what she wants.
Oh my
And then here's
gosh.
the cover.
I just went on Goodreads and like one of the
And then
first
here comes
sentences
The
of
Shining.
someone's review, they're like, Misery is a gruesome story of torture with blood, guts, and a psychopath.
Ooh.
Ooh! Okay,
What's
go.
that?
What was the next one? The
Read
Shining?
that one.
Shining.
Wait, you want me to read The Shining one now?
Yeah, because
Okay.
you said it was about a man in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The Overlook Hotel claimed the most beautiful physical setting of any resort in the world. But Jack Torrance, the new, oh, it's Jack, not, I think he says Johnny in the movie, sorry. The new winter caretaker and his wife Wendy and their 5-year-old Danny saw much more than its splendor. Jack saw the Overlook as an opportunity, a desperate way back from failure and despair. Wendy saw this lonely sanctuary as a frail chance to preserve their family. And Danny, who was blessed or cursed with a shining precognitive gift, saw visions hideously beyond the comprehension of a small boy. He sensed the evil coiled within the Overlook's 110 empty rooms, an evil that was waiting just for them. The Shining is a classic work of horror fiction from Stephen King, the undisputed master of the genre. Here's the cover. You can see some little eyes right there. I think it's the little boy. And then here's Stephen King.
Cute.
So what do you guys think?
They both sound pretty interesting. Y'all can decide. I'm a chicken when it comes to scary.
The first review from Goodreads, because I wanted to see what, I don't want to go too much into detail. And someone was like, this scene from Friends pretty much sums up my feelings about this book. And it goes, Rachel. She opens a freezer. Why do you have a copy of The Shining in your freezer? Joey. Oh, I was reading it last night and I got scared, so. But you're safe from it if it's in the freezer? And then Joey's like, well, safer, you know what I mean? I never start reading The Shining without making sure we've got plenty of room in the freezer, you know? And then Rachel's like, how often do you read it? Joey, haven't you ever read the same book over and over again? Then Rachel, well, I guess I read Little Women more than once, but I mean, that's a classic. What's so great about The Shining? And this is the last thing Joey says. The question should be, Rach, what is not so great about The Shining? Okay, and the answer would be nothing, all right? This is like the scariest book ever. I bet it's way better than the classic of yours. That's it. But,
Oh, snap.
I'm down for The Shining.
Yeah, I vote for
I'm
The
kind of
Shining
down for that
too.
too.
Okay, so I can order it on Amazon.
I agree.
Okay, I'm gonna order 2, the used one for $1.
For $1?
$1? Madonna?
Oh, but it's like $3.69 shipping.
Eileen's like, not down for that, but you're gonna buy the $8 one with free shipping, huh?
$5.65 free shipping.
I'm excited.
Yes,
This
you
book
can
has
do
been
one
sitting
book.
on my shelf for over a year.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
What? I have 2 items.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go. Hope
Okay,
everyone has a good night.
Wednesday.
I'll
Wednesday
see you
at
guys
4
on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
See you on hump day.
Oh yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, have a
Good
good
night.
night. Should we do
Huh?
should we do it at how do I get rid of this? There you go. The meeting on Wednesday at 7, since it's like a work day?
That
Or
works for me.
yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think it should be fine.
that would be good for me, but what about you?
I think that works. So next
And then
meeting
we dress
at
up
7.
on the last section.
Wait, what day are we on? 13?
The
Oh,
13th is today.
I would have read the 23rd. That's too far.
Oh my goodness. On the back of this book, there's 2 little girls floating. Can you see?
Ooh.
Like there's their little table, and then there's their little feet right here.
Um,
And they made a
already.
new movie similar to this, right? There was a new horror movie that came out, and I think it was loosely based on it. I never saw it though.
how many pages is The Shining? You put it on the thing,
450.
right? For
450 on this. Oh, Doctor Sleep.
I saw that. I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a sequel to The Shining. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
I did not know it had a sequel. I'm gonna have to read that too now.
Trying to decide, should I get the paperback or hardcover? The paperback has a different cover.
did you already get yours, Eileen?
No, the one that I was looking at wouldn't arrive until September 23rd. So I found another one at $7.65, which is still not bad, and it gets here this Wednesday.
On Amazon?
Nice.
Because that's the one I was looking at.
Yeah,
It has a different cover.
yeah. I think it's fine.
I'm just waiting on you so you can order and then I can order because then,
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay. I ordered
my account.
with my account too.
I think in Halloween, when we finish this book, I will watch the movie again after. I've only seen it once a long time ago in college, I think.
Let's see.
Ooh, I have rewards. Should I charge it to Louisa's credit card?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will he notice?
He probably would. He checks his bank statement.
Oh, really?
Yeah. September 15th. When's that? Tuesday. Perfect. Should I add gift wrapped?
Yes.
Get a gift wrap to myself?
That's funny. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.